and I'm back today with my first video in a while. Today we're going to talk about mental illness. You heard me right. We're going to talk about mental illness. What has inspired me to do this video is that I was at work a couple of days and I could see where Kanye West, it was like a whole lot of dilemma behind Kanye West. When I looked into it, he was sending like all type of tweets that happened maybe some days ago, could be some weeks ago. I'm not for sure because I didn't dig into it real deep. But what I did see is people was criticizing Kanye, and that's just inappropriate. Kanye West, from the information of the tweet that his wife tweeted or posted somewhere that I kind of briefly looked at, he has bipolar, and right now he is experiencing a manic phase. So instead of us judging Kanye, let us uplift Kanye. Instead of us sharing his tweets saying, this man is crazy, this man is this, he's not crazy. How would you like for me to call you crazy if I say, you got high blood pressure, you crazy because you eat all the wrong type of foods and you do this and you do that and you're overweight and this. How would you like for me to call you crazy? Sometimes, you know, some things can be hereditary. That's not what I'm saying. But the same way diabetes, the same way it could be any type of illness. How would you like for somebody to call you crazy? He is not crazy. He just has a mental illness, and right now he is mentally unstable. The same as Tamar Braxton. Between Kanye West looking a little bit of his stuff, between Tamar Braxton with the suicide attempt, and Tamar, you and your sisters are like my TV sisters. I love y'all to pieces. I hate, Tamar, that you know that you did make that suicide attempt. But what I am happy about is that I did see something shared that you were seeking you some mental health, and that's really, really good. We have to stop being judgmental. I always want to talk about mental illness. I love mental illness. It's my favorite part of nursing. I mean, I'm just a die-hard fan. I'm not of the patients being sick, but I just love what I do to try to help the patients recover, where they can be able to get out and socialize and function in everyday life. So it's something that I love doing. It just hurts me to see others making fun of people and being judgmental when you really need to. You like to do a lot of Facebooking and a lot of social media. Read up on some of these things that you're judging people about. Sometimes it's not our fault. Sometimes it's hereditary. Sometimes we could bring things on ourselves. But still, at the end of the day, it don't matter what type of illness it is. It's an illness. I can remember coming up as, I wouldn't say a kid, but as a young female, African-American female, and our society, you know, our ancestors kind of looked at, they kind of pushed mental illness toward the back. And it was like, oh, nothing is wrong with her, nothing is wrong with him. He just wants attention. He just needs to go to church. The demons on him. It's like that we didn't want to acknowledge. But now, I just thank God that we are on the brighter side of things now, and that we are acknowledging that anybody can have mental illness. It don't matter your color. It don't matter your race. Anyone can be affected with it, and no one is obsolete or not coming down with any type of mental illness, because at some point we are all mentally unstable in our lives. So I did put some stuff down on a piece of paper. I don't know how much of this stuff I'm going to really read from this paper. I tried to do this because y'all know I jump from this subject to that subject. This subject is me. So I tried to do this to help guide me. I don't know really how much of it I'm going to read, but I'm going to try to look at it for a second. But as I stated, instead of us making fun of others and judging others, let's uplift others. We can uplift everyone. The same thing with this COVID. Do you think a lot of people expected to come down with COVID? And it's not their fault. That's the same way if you have a mental illness that you inherited from somebody. Sometimes we can bring stuff on ourselves. We can. But let me look at my paperwork and see what I can find. And as I read this paperwork, what I'm going to do is insert some of those tweets I went online, and I took a picture of them so you can kind of see how a person can react when they're in a manic phase. I also have some other stuff that I may or may not share of someone in a manic phase. I'm not for sure on that yet. But while I'm pausing, trying to see where I need to go, I'm going to stop so I can insert this information up in here. Okay. Hopefully that was long enough. If not, I will try to get it there. But I'm going to use this ruler as an example. It's not a ruler, it's a fake ruler. I'm assimilating that this is a ruler, people. And this is the mental illness continuum. On this end, you are mentally healthy. On this end, you're mentally ill. So as you're healthy, you may run into some type of environmental issue. I mean, you could go to on your job and you can inhale this very poisonous chemical or toxin, and it can cause you to become mentally unstable. It could be some type of bad drugs that you got a hold to that can cause you to be mentally unstable to the point that you could revert into a mental illness. So as this is your mental health, you're mentally healthy, and you go on down the ladder where you're starting to become mentally unstable. You go on down the ladder where, boom, you're mentally ill. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to anybody. It don't matter the color. It don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter. It can happen to anybody. So stop being judgmental. Well, we talked about this ruler, and I want y'all to keep that in mind. Things that can affect us. Sometimes we might have mild stress, and mild stress or mild distress is okay. It's actually mild stress is actually healthy, small amount of it. But we can get to the point where we can become moderately distressed. We can become moderately or extremely impaired, and can cause us to tilt over on this ruler and become mentally ill. I don't know if I talked about it. I did say like certain environmental things, like, you know, inhaling toxic fumes. It could be different things from the environment. Just think of environmental things that can cause you to become mentally unstable. Some people like to inhale gas. Some like to inhale Clorox. It could be some type of poisonous fume. It could be anything. Just think of it. As I already stated, it can be hereditary. Sometimes we just can't get around it. If we have a family member who is mentally unstable, sometimes we can't get around it, people. It might skip a generation where you could be fine and it could affect your children, and vice versa. You could get it and your children can be fine. It's many reasons why we could become mentally ill. What I would like to say to the mentally ill, as I'm trying to glance at this paper so I can tell you what I want to tell you from this paper, please take your medicines. Always pray. We need to pray. We do need to get into church. I agree with all that stuff. We need to read our Bible. Yes, 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 we do. But you got to take them medicines. Because the medicine is going to help balance out your dopamine levels. You got serotonin levels. You got all that good stuff. Your neurotransmitters in the brain. You want to get on something that's going to help balance that out. You want to stay away from what caused you to have this mental break in the beginning. Well, you can get back out there and function in everyday life. So take your medicines. If you're uncomfortable with your doctor, if you need somebody that you can trust in your corner, bring them to the doctor with you. If you don't trust your doctor, get a second opinion. If you're not comfortable with the nurse, you don't have to tell the nurse that you're not comfortable with her if you don't want to do it and feel like it's going to be something backlash said. Let the receptionist know. Let the doctor know. Never be afraid to speak your mind and verbalize things that can help you. Economic issues can cause us to go into become mentally unstable. Just think about, if I got this house, and if I got a house that's the size of a bird box, it don't matter what size my house is. It's my house, I live in it. But if I get to a point and I can't pay for this bird box, or I can't pay for this mansion, it's gonna cause me some type of stress. And I can tolerate stress a little more than what you can, and vice versa. But if I can't tolerate it, and if I don't know how to cope with it, it's going to cause me to become mentally unstable. So there are many things that can cause us to do this. Here, we going down and mentally unstable, and we become mentally ill. Sometimes you can reverse it, you can come out of it, and you can function daily normally. Sometimes it's hard to do this. You're down, and you might come up, you might go back down. Then some people, you level out. But everybody don't get the chance to level out. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from experimental things. Drug dealers do not care about you. They want your money. They want to make it so fire that you come back so they can keep getting your money. When you're mentally unstable or when you're messed up, do you think they're going to reach out and say, hey girl, you know, I sold you some stuff a month ago. I just want to make sure you was good. They don't care whether you good or whether you bad. They want to keep getting you there so they can keep messing you up. So you can keep coming back. They trying to hook you so you can keep coming back. What they doing is you messed up, and now they moving on to the next target, which are all still targets. But what my brain may can handle, your brain may not be able to handle. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's just give some examples of being mentally unstable or mental ill. Sometimes mental illness can start in our childhood years, with childhood things. I'm going to talk about childhood developmental disorders that can sometimes unravel to mental illness. Autism, ADHD, those are some things that can unravel. You know, you got older people who comes down with Alzheimer's and dementia. Things can unravel. You know, sometimes the medical doctor can't really get them stable, or you have to bring in a psychiatrist to get them stable. It's still up on this umbrella of mental illness. People that's OCD. I know you know about those people that's OCD. Little things. Mental illness, well, they're really mentally unstable. And being mentally unstable, if you don't stabilize yourself, it's going to further unravel into mental illness. You got schizophrenia. And just because you got schizophrenia don't mean nothing, because guess what? If you take your medicines, I never know you have schizophrenia. I never know you have it. But we got drug-induced schizophrenia, where we bring things on ourselves with drugs. And no one is perfect, and everybody makes mistakes. We have depression. Well, we are mentally unstable. What I'm trying to get to is that a lot of people have experienced a lot of things in life that has caused them to become mentally unstable. You so depressed, you go into major depressive disorder. Now, how many people have experienced depression? A lot. Anxiety. Nothing is wrong with anxiety. A little bit of anxiety is actually healthy. But when you get into this moderate and extreme anxiety where you can't control it, don't know how to cope with it, you're mentally unstable, which will further cause you to become mentally ill if you don't deal with it. Get the adequate help that you need. It's just a lot of things. Phobias. We all have phobias. Some people scared of elevators. Some people scared to fly. Some people scared to be around big trucks. There are so many things that can cause us to be mentally unstable that if we don't properly treat it, you don't have to always take medicines because you have issues. You can do therapy. You got lots of therapists out there that can help you with these issues. So let's stop judging each other. And I'm going to use this example. I know Spice Mojo is supposed to be, I guess, the same thing. I'm not 100% sure. I really don't know. But what I do know is that I work with a lot of people, and I have a lot of patients who done got a hold to a lot of this stuff. And this stuff is not good for you at all. You got a lot of people that think they smoking marijuana, and you have spice and all type of stuff mixed in with it. And the person who's supplying it is not going to tell you a lot of times. They're not going to let you know because they want you to buy it. Sometimes the person that they buying it from might have stuff in it and may lie to them like it's so, you know, oh, this don't have this in it, don't have this, and it's straight this. Because they want the drug dealer to buy it from them, and then they going to push the product on you. Stay away from drugs, people. Just stay away from them. If you do your history, we already losing our African American guys to being shot and killed. We got so many in jail. We got so many, whether we're African American, Mexican American, Caucasian American, it don't matter. We got so many people that's doing drugs. But it seems like the African American population, especially men, is being affected the most. Try to do something productive. Try not to down other people. Try to pray for people. Try to help someone. If you see somebody out here that's high on spice and they out there getting out of their clothes and doing all type of stuff, instead of you running up with your phone to record, why don't you say, no, don't do that. Let's help this young man, or let's help this young lady. If we can't help them, if they are out of hand, call the police and ask the police to help them, because they need some type of help. But stop sharing everything on Facebook and Instagram like stuff is just oh so funny, because it's not funny. It's not funny. Just like you having the flu, not funny. You having pneumonia, not funny. You having tuberculosis or AIDS or cancer or hypertension or diabetes. I can go on and on. None of that is funny. And it's all some type of virus or some type of illness that makes us sick. So let's pray for people like Kanye. Let's pray for people like Tamar. It don't matter if you're millionaires or billionaires. We all still have a lot of the same feelings. We go through a lot of the same things in everyday life. And it's hard sometimes to stay on this healthy side. Because a lot of us want to live up to society. We want to make this amount of money and we want to make that amount of money. And if you're not mentally stable, you're going to become physically unstable, physically healthy, and vice versa. If you're not physically healthy, you can cause yourself to be mentally unstable, cause yourself some mental issues. So that's pretty much all I want to say. Leave your feedback for me. Drop your comments. Tell me what you got to say. As I stated, it could be many things that can cause this problem. Post-traumatic stress disorder, somatic disorder, where we complain of something that's always wrong with us. We don't know how to properly cope, you know, when we lose a loved one. It's just so many things. Personality disorder. 1 minute we're this way, we happy, we smiling. If I say something to you that you don't like, you're a whole different person. You're not mentally stable. So let's stop judging each other and just let's pray for each other and just try to help each other out. Now tweet that. Tweet something like that. When somebody sends something crazy, you see somebody doing something, well, I'm not going to say crazy, but you know that's just not normal. Say, you know what, let me tweet, let's pray for this brother, or let's pray for this sister, instead of saying, oh, you know this and oh, you know that. Grow up. Grow some balls and grow up. Have a good one. Toodles.